The thing is, I haven't dreamed like this in a long time. But they always start the same. I'm back home in Esther Hines. A quiet hum develops through the reeds, lacquer roofed trees, and lily pads, accompanied by a ripple that runs across the surface of the lake. I'm drawn to the reflection of the Ender Nebula on the water's surface more than I can remember being before, the acquiescent oranges and violet hues dancing across my field of vision, interrupted only by luminescent particles which shine with the same sparkle as stars in the sky. Sunflowers my mom had planted the last time she visited me prior to the final stages of the portal experiment still grow in that small patch. The only breed that can grow in the end, she had told me. The only breed that could survive the cold of the void without the sun which had given it its name. My old house stands as it always has, a certain surface of the sea like glistens to the smaragdant roof tiles above walls of flavolite, vines from lost time crawling down the corners, tucked kindly away between tree bark. As I turn my head to peer through the lilac-stained glass, though, the figure isn't me. The person in my house, tinkering with my things, isn't me. His hair resembles the void as if it were set ablaze, wisps of violet and orange flame flickering off his body with every movement. He's draped in robes of cerulean gold and white, engraved with a foreign runic language. The claws on his feet dig deep into the moss on the flooring I never made an attempt to repair. While I cannot see myself, or am sure if I'm even there, I can feel the glass heating up as he approaches the windows. The closer I get, the less familiar I feel to myself. And I see a face, but not my face, appear like a mirage in between gold-plated framing. I don't remember enough to describe what looked back at me. But what's more interesting is how the foliage behind me changes as well. This time, I'm back in the overworld in a flattened limestone cove overlooking the sea on a set of smooth stone stairs. Behind me sits a lighthouse made of copper and maroon wood, and at its base sitting a humble stone and spruce home with red windows. A soft sea breeze blows, a subtle clicking, awakening the lights throughout the building. Something about this particular structure does not feel inviting. I can occasionally spot a fox and turtle wandering about the red carpet inside, but the doors are never unlocked, despite there being no indication of redstone that would keep it closed. Most times, instead, I am inclined to follow the pathway around the intentionally crafted coastline, adorned with a glowing copper ore, which leads me into a winding river-laden ravine, cliff sides climbing high into the sky. The farther down this ravine I walk, the more reminiscent of home it starts to feel. And at some point, I reach a house buried deep into the side of the mountain, adorned by peculiar stone walls and green bamboo tile roofs. It appears desolate, as if no one has lived in it for years. The animal pen just to the right is inhabited by only 2 chickens, who, for reasons I can't explain, seem spry as ever, as if they were just born. I have no idea who this home belonged to, but I am always inclined to step inside, only to be met by an open floor full of dusty chests, half-crafted tools, enchantments, and redstone scattered about the ground, left unfinished, as if their owner had left in a hurry and without finding a resolution that I think they maybe have had desired. Laments of a time long ago are inscribed into the walls, broken by what appears to be unsystematic explosions, creating craters without specific intent. Within moments of exploring the interiors, dusting off surfaces, the walls of the house seem to close in on me, slowly gaining in rapidity, and I am forced to burst through stained, mossy oak doors which had once been rusted copper only moments before. Stumbling into the woods with empty hands. I am met by what appears to be overgrown farmland. Unlike the place before, there is not a single animal to be found. What might have been a pool before with a diving board hundreds of meters into the sky is the only thing that looks even remotely normal. The water clear as it can be, a small assortment of tropical fish making its home amongst the rough-edged coral and cobblestone at its floor. Above me runs a network of haphazardly placed dirt and stone bridges connecting 3 main buildings, I think, all together forming the shape of a lightning bolt as if somebody looked at it from the sky. The first few times I had this dream, I used to think that the thick overgrowth I find myself sinking into as if gravity suddenly took a stronger hold of me was comprised of grass, flowers, the kind of thing that grows if you leave your lawn unkempt for long enough. But it was this past night that I realized it was sunflowers. Stems, leaves, shoots, and flowers both fully blossomed and dead petals littering the ground beneath my feet. Nothing but sunflowers. It's then when I look up towards the sky, expecting storm clouds stretching towards the horizon to be the cause of a sudden onset darkness that had blocked the sky, the only light now coming from a lava feature across from the main house, netherrack spilling out of the cracked obsidian portal that sat at its center, adorned by just the slightest bit of nether foliage. Instead, I am met by the soft glow of stars, the gentle hum of the void, and the ignited glow of a forming ender nebula coming over the edge of the world. The ground beneath me shifts into something like a cerulean ocean set on fire, glowing with abstract patterns of aqua, cyan, my footsteps leaving ripples across it. The water itself is shallow, not deep enough to swim in or really get in, so I just sort of seem to stand on its surface. I feel inclined to keep going as I walk across the barren nothing for what feels like hours. Eventually, I see a face appear in the sky. A pair of pearlescent eyes surrounded by a multicolored iridescent nebula ever-shifting. A symbol not unlike to the one that appeared on the back of my shirt manifests above her head between curls, and one by one purple eyes appear across their cheeks. Never once has the face spoken to me, but always waits until I get close, offers his hand, and I wake up again.